This is part 2 of convention and what me and Allison have both learned, and hopefully it'll help inspire you and give you some tips to use either with sharing Young Living or just moving forward in whatever that you're doing. Did get 2 of the oils. So
which ones do you have?
So I have the 2 oils. I have the One Heart. My other stuff is still coming.
Ooh.
But it's funny, the one that I ordered on Saturday, the smaller order got here before my big bundle. But that's okay.
Mine was the same. Yep.
The One Heart it smells like woodsy and floral. And this is definitely like something else that I started using a lot because I think it is just such an awesome message of connecting with others and realizing that we are like what we had talked about.
Yeah, so imagine like a pillow, right? It's like a rectangle. It's got the 4 corners on the center, and this idea that we can explore possibilities. So one possibility would be, I'm right, you're wrong. We like that possibility a lot of the time, right? But how about the next one, which is, you're right, I'm wrong. We're both right, we're both wrong. And basically the middle is like, it doesn't apply. And we could translate that into kind of like it doesn't matter, or like it's not important. So I think today we're seeing a lot of this, like we were talking about in social media and human interactions, where there's a lot of people trying to be right. And it's kind of, I think, a way of controlling the unknown. We were talking about that a little bit. Life is the unknown. Life is always presenting you with the unknown. We like to think we know things or we have control over things. That helps us feel like things are solid or something. And we're really being thrown into that unknown right now, really being faced with that idea that's always been there, but it seems more obvious now because there are a lot of things that we really want to control and that we really can't. And I think people are taking it out on each other, and that's not really a way to we and the One Heart. It's very much away from that.
Exactly. And yes, that's what I'm cultivating, either also with this group, but also my personal page, of that spreading the love. It's easy to call names, but it's just so important to just really have that open and that one heart and that open heart and that open mind, and ask questions every day. The other thing that I got was Gary's Light, and I realized I did not, I might have to go run and grab that. My beautiful roller ball came in, the Amethyst roller.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. So, but what I did is I do still have a little bit in this because I added that carrier oil, which we've all had that idea, or I've shared, I'm pretty sure. If not, you're learning something new, of adding the carrier oil into an empty bottle, so that you get the last little bit out. So this still does have some oil in it because I added that carrier oil, and it's the oil that's around the edges. So that's one way.
I just wanted to know what you've been using that one for. You must have been using it quite a bit.
Yes, yeah. So Gary's Light, I have been using it to help with the idea of moving forward and also envisioning. And there's a lot of oils in here for grounding, but also for skin support. But you want to use the carrier oil, because I have it even in the roller. I have it mixed in because it does have like cistus and cinnamon bark. And there's another one that's kind of a hotter oil. Hyssop. Hyssop is the other one, and it's hotter. So you definitely want to make sure you have that carrier oil with it. But more for like opening the mind a little bit, like we were talking about. So I've been using both these oils to make sure that I'm doing tasks, and I also kind of have that belief in myself. I think that's important to realize, that we all have things that we're overcoming and challenges that happen. And that's how our oils can help us, is they can help us realize and get rid of those emotional blockages, like I mentioned on Feelings Friday, about envision, like getting past those emotional blockages. So Gary's Light is just so awesome for for that. That's kind of what I've been using it for. I've still been like testing the waters. I just got it a few days ago. So
Wonderful. What kind of dilution did you use it in inside the roller ball? Did you have a
I,
particular drops per carrier oil?
I just kind of eyeballed it like most things I do.
Nice, like cooking.
Yeah, yeah. Cooking, sometimes there's specific things I will precisely measure out, yeah, but yeah, I've also been known to do that with cooking. You can ask Nate about that.
Can't do it as much with baking, but with cooking it's easier.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've done it more I've done it with baking, but yeah, I guess that's right. You're right. I do it precise with baking, and cooking I kind of eyeball things. But yeah, I just eyeballed it. I used V6 because I knew we were out of olive oil. Plus, olive oil as a carrier, you need more oil than the carrier oil because olive oil has its own pungent smell. So I used the V6, which is our 6 different vegetable oils. It's just a really great balance and a really great carrier. The other thing though you can use is almond. Almond has a pretty sweet almond oil, has a pretty light scent, or grapeseed oil as well.
Nice. Yeah, grapeseed has such a neutral, pretty neutral scent, and then fractionated coconut I use sometimes. Yeah, one thing that you were talking about reminded me of the way that we view herbs in Chinese medicine. So they're plants as well, but you know, in Chinese medicine we process them differently. We dry certain parts or dry fry or charcoal or do different things to different parts of the plant. But I think very much within that idea of all ancient medicines is this idea of signature. So for example, the flower of a plant has a certain energy, the root of a plant has a certain energy, the bark has a certain energy, and it's all kind of based on almost this quality of the seasons. So if you think of a plant when it's in the winter, like it doesn't have much foliage, if any, most plants, and all its energy is in the roots. And so what is that energy of winter like? You know, real condensing and calming. And so like roots of plants, like vetiver is like a really calming essential oil because that's what they're drawing the essential oil from is the root. And then as the plant bursts up through the soil in the springtime, then it starts to get the foliage. So sometimes the foliage is what the oil is based on. And that energy is this kind of growing, expanding kind of energy. And then in the summertime, the plant is making its flower. And so
Yeah.
some of the things are drawn from the flowers. And so that's this very, very open kind of energy. And then the fruit comes next after the flower. So the fruit, then if you're looking at what I'm doing here, it's like going out, out, out. And then the fruit starts to be a condensed energy again. And so sometimes it's from the fruit. If you think of citrus rinds and stuff like that. And that has a certain kind of more condensed energy of the late summer. And then the fall is more, it's like the twigs, you know, of the plant are more evident. And so things like the cinnamon bark or cinnamon twig we use in Chinese medicine, that has a certain kind of energy. And then the energy goes back down again in winter to the roots. And so that idea with plants and how essential oils are being extracted from different parts, so it has like a different energy. So what I'm thinking about when you're saying like the plants are helping us is the scientific part of my mind is going, oh, well, you know, how does that happen? Yeah, we experience that it happens, but it's like, oh, how is that happening? And then in Chinese medicine, we also view that the herbs all have, or the plants all have specific qualities themselves, almost like little personalities. And they all impart that to us when we ingest them in different ways or take them into our body in different ways. So I think that's a really interesting idea too. So I think it's very far from our modern mind of like, well, the chemical constituents of this plant do this and do that. And that's all very interesting too, but it's also the ancient way of looking at it. And think about how old plants are. They're way, way, way older than we are. So think
Yeah.
about that intelligence that they're bringing and that special quality that they're imparting, not only from their own little personalities, but from what part of them that we're using, and like plus that, and then that creates a certain energy. So it's such powerful medicine.
Yeah, yeah, that's so awesome. I mean, that's such a great way of looking at it and thinking about it. And the little personalities, and it's true. It's definitely true. And then the frequency idea, or the energy, what you were kind of explaining it. I liked that explanation. I liked how you did that. That's awesome. I was excited about getting these oils, and I smelled Gary's light. It stayed in my nose for quite some time, and that was like really interesting. So yeah, I'm gonna go grab that um, little roller ball. So I am back with this.
Ooh, so pretty. Is the amethyst, is it directly in there or is it in like a wall of glass? It's directly in there.
Yeah, it's directly in there. It's directly
Wow.
in, and then you have a tool that comes with it to get the roller ball off. Um, and I usually try and do my best. It doesn't always happen with any of my roller balls to try and keep them upright. It's just so awesome. I'm like really excited. I'm like, I can just roll this on anywhere.
Oh,
See,
it's
and I have it
beautiful.
diluted enough to put it on my neck. So, but if I didn't have it diluted, the cinnamon and the cistus and the hyssop would not feel that good. But they are also really good for skin, but you just have to make sure you have that right dilution ratio. But yeah.
And amethyst is in some traditions, because it's purple, it
Uh-huh.
belongs to the crown chakra. And so that is this idea of kind of calming, like calming the spirit and like connecting to like a higher purpose. I think that's so important right now. Of course, they probably know that, which is why they
Yeah.
gave us all that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do. I've heard too from different stories that they did, or for certain farms, they also added some of the crystals to the ground. This is some from people who've been in the company like 22 years, and heard the stories from Gary and whatnot. So yeah, they know.
That's amazing. And minerals are older than plants too, and they feed plants, you know. And so, especially gemstones are very like a refined kind of mineral energy. And so, yeah, it's very cool that they're using all these different things we have available on this beautiful earth to help us out. It's,
Yeah, yeah, they are. But yeah, I think that's great that you mentioned, because I couldn't remember what amethyst was. So good for. So thanks. And it's very valuable to be calm right now.
it's a variety of quartz. So citrine and quartz and amethyst are all different qualities of quartz, basically. Different manifestations of it. And so quartz also is very good for cleansing. You think about how clear it is, right? And
Yeah,
citrine is also like they're all pretty high vibration kind of gemstones.
I'm very excited to have this. It was in my purse, in one of my pockets, and then I've also had it on the desk too. So those are kind of my two locations. And yeah.
Yeah, you're such an inspiration for keeping those tools available and using them. That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's very important. I mean, you never know. There's always usually something that comes up, to have to help move through those emotions or get you regrounded and refocused.